I shouldn't be alive to tell you this. It sounds like something you'd hear from a lunatic ranting on a street corner, but I promise every word you're about to read is true. My name is James Whitlock, and I am the firstborn son of the Whitlock line. A family so old and tight-lipped, we still keep a graveyard on our own land in rural Massachusetts. Most people in our small town think we're eccentric, maybe a bit stuck up. If they only knew the truth, if they knew what my ancestors did to bind us to something that can never be buried, they'd burn the whole estate to the ground and salt the earth. My father disappeared when I was 7 years old. One autumn night, he tucked me in, told me to dream of castles and dragons, then went out for a walk around our property. He never came back.
No footprints, no torn clothing.
Just vanished as if the mist behind our orchard swallowed him whole. The police blamed it on depression. Too much pressure, they said. The Whitlocks always did have a reputation for secrets. That's the thing about secrets, they rot you from the inside out. I'm 32 now. I wasn't supposed to live this long. The Whitlock curse takes the firstborn sons young. My grandfather disappeared at 23. My father at 22. I know my time's running out. Lately, I've felt it in my bones like a low hum under my skin that I can't shake. I've spent half my life pretending the stories were just that, stories. But I've spent the other half digging up every record, letter, rumor I could find about my family's past. Last winter, while going through the old Whitlock library, a stone building behind the main house, I found it. Contract. A single, yellowed page sealed in wax and tucked inside my great-great-grandfather's Bible. His name was Abel Whitlock, a desperate man who in 1813 made a pact with a thing he met at the edge of our woods. The story goes that Abel's crops failed year after year. His wife was dying of consumption, and he'd buried 3 infant sons in shallow frozen graves. So one moonless night, he walked beyond the orchard, past the old stone walls, and whispered for help at the crossroads. Something answered. It promised him a line of heirs who would thrive, land that would never go barren again at a cost. The first son of every second generation would have to return to feed the soil that fed them. What that meant, Abel never asked. Or maybe he did and didn't care. Either way, the Whitlocks prospered. Our name grew rich while others starved. But every few decades, a firstborn son simply vanished into mist. When I read that letter, I wanted to burn it. I wanted to bury it in the orchard and pray the ground would forget. But you can't unmake a pact by ignoring it. That night, I dreamt of my father standing at the edge of the orchard, half shrouded in fog. He pointed toward the old stone wall, his mouth moving but no sound coming out. When I woke up, my feet were muddy and my bedroom window was open to the cold night air. I didn't sleep for 3 days after that. The hum in my bones got louder. The orchard seemed to whisper whenever the wind cut through the bare trees. My mother pretended not to see me pacing the halls, reading by candlelight, scribbling notes in a journal that made less sense every day. Finally, last week, I found it, buried in the Whitlock family crypt behind the church ruins on our land. An iron box wrapped in chains. Inside, a map drawn in rust-brown ink and a single iron key. The map led to the oldest part of the orchard, the part no one has touched for 200 years. Yesterday at dusk, I went there. I know how this sounds, the old orchard. The mist, the shadows in the trees, but I swear to you, I'm not making this up. I followed the map past the broken stone fence, under the gnarled apple trees that haven't borne fruit since my father's time. I found the old well dry for decades, and at the bottom, a door built into the stone. Shouldn't be there. Nobody in their right mind builds a door at the bottom of a dry well. But I climbed down anyway. The key fit perfectly. Inside was a chamber. The walls were lined with roots, massive, black, snaking like veins. In the center, an altar of stone, slick with moisture. And on the far wall, a mural of a tree split down the middle, its trunk bleeding darkness that fed ghostly figures kneeling in the roots. My father stood beside it, or what was left of him. His skin was pale as paper, his eyes hollow but aware. He spoke in a voice that made the roots shiver. "James," he said, "you came." I tried to run. I did, but my feet wouldn't obey. My father held out his hand, and I saw the truth: the pact never ended. The Whitlocks keep feeding the soil, binding the family to the land, fattening the roots that bind the world below to the world above. I begged him to tell me how to stop it. He just smiled sad, tired, and said, "We are the roots now, son, and the roots are hungry." The roots pulsed beneath me. I felt them crawl under my skin. My chest burned. My breath turned to mist. The orchard above me groaned as if the trees were waking up from a long, hungry sleep. I don't know how long I've been here. The orchard is alive. My blood runs through its roots. When the wind moves through the branches, it carries whispers, my whispers and those of my father, and his father, and all the first sons buried without graves. Somewhere up there, my wife cradles our baby boy, our first son, the next in line. If you see him someday, tell him this: burn the orchard, salt the ground, leave this cursed land behind. Because if he doesn't, if he stays, the roots will call him home too. The Whitlocks always keep their word.